Eala advances at Indian Wells after Coco Gauff retires. Rising Filipina talent Eala moved on to the last 16 at Indian Wells on Monday, Manila time, after world number 4 Coco Gauff retired due to an injury in their keenly anticipated third-round match. Eala, 20, was leading 6-2, 2-0 when Gauff threw in the towel, having received treatment on her left arm during a medical timeout late in the final set. "I really didn't want to win this way," Eala said. "But this is still a really big moment for me to be able to play on Stadium 1 of Indian Wells and against such a great competitor," she added, wishing Gauff a speedy recovery. A trainer worked on Gauff's shoulder and arm, and after she was broken in the final game of the opening set, returned to wrap her forearm. It was to no avail, and Gauff went to the net and told Eala she was calling it a day after dropping her serve in the second game of the second set. Eala will face Czech Linda Noskova for a place in the quarterfinal. Rising beyond the desert, Eala advances at Indian Wells after Coco Gauff retires. The California desert is famous for producing dramatic sunsets, but on a warm evening at the BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells, tennis fans witnessed a different kind of spectacle, one filled with promise, tension, and bittersweet triumph. In the third round of the tournament, rising Filipino star Alexandra Eala found herself standing across the net from one of the brightest names in tennis, Coco Gauff, the world number 4 and a Grand Slam champion. What began as a highly anticipated clash between youth and momentum ended unexpectedly when Gauff was forced to retire due to injury. Yet the moment was far more than just a retirement. It marked a significant milestone in the young career of Eala. A match charged with anticipation. Indian Wells is often called the 5th Grand Slam. Every March, the desert oasis becomes a gathering place for the world's best tennis players and thousands of passionate fans. The stadium courts echo with the sounds of rackets slicing through dry air, and dreams often begin, or end, under the bright California lights. For Eala, stepping onto the court was another chance to prove she belongs among the sport's elite. At only 20 years old, the Filipino sensation had already captured global attention with her fearless style and rapid rise through the rankings. Across the net stood Gauff, a player who had become a symbol of tennis excellence and resilience. Known for her speed, powerful ground strokes, and competitive fire, Gauff was widely considered the favorite going into the match. Yet tennis often writes stories no one expects. Eala's electric start. From the first rally, Eala played with remarkable confidence. She struck the ball cleanly from the baseline, mixing aggressive forehands with precise backhands that forced Gauff into uncomfortable positions. The young Filipino strategy was simple but effective: extend rallies, stay composed, and capitalize on opportunities. It worked brilliantly. Within minutes, Eala broke Gauff's serve and surged ahead. The American star struggled to find her rhythm as Eala dictated the pace of the match with maturity beyond her years. By the time the first set ended, the scoreboard read 6-2 in favor of Eala. The crowd, initially expecting a routine victory for the higher-ranked player, began to sense something extraordinary unfolding. Statistics told part of the story. Eala maintained discipline in rallies, while Gauff committed a number of unforced errors under pressure. For Eala, it was a statement set. Trouble for Gauff. Despite her fighting spirit, Gauff began showing signs of discomfort as the match progressed. Late in the first set she requested medical attention, hinting that something wasn't quite right. Observers noticed her repeatedly shaking out her left arm between points. The problem soon became impossible to ignore. Gauff later described the sensation in her arm as feeling like it was on fire, suggesting the issue could be related to a nerve problem. Still, champions rarely give up easily. She returned to the court determined to continue, hoping momentum might shift in the second set. The match comes to an end. But Eala continued her relentless play. Early in the second set, the Filipina broke serve again, taking a 2-0 lead. The scoreboard now read 6-2, 2-0, and the pressure on Gauff mounted. After just 54 minutes of play, the American star made the difficult decision to retire from the match due to persistent pain in her left arm. The crowd fell into a momentary hush. Victory had come, but not in the way anyone expected. Gauff approached the net, apologizing and offering respect to her opponent. It was a moment that highlighted the sportsmanship and humanity behind elite competition. The historic moment for Eala. For Eala, the result carried enormous significance. The victory propelled her into the round of 16 at Indian Wells for the first time in her career, marking one of the biggest achievements of her young professional journey. Though the match ended prematurely, her performance had already demonstrated that she was capable of competing with the best players in the world. In the Philippines, the news sparked excitement among fans who have followed Eala's journey from junior prodigy to global contender. Her rise has become a source of pride for a nation that has long dreamed of seeing one of its own shine on tennis's biggest stages. Respect amid competition. After the match, Eala showed compassion toward her injured opponent. She described Gauff as an amazing competitor and expressed hope that the American would recover quickly. Such words reflected the humility and maturity that have defined Eala's career so far. Tennis is a sport built on rivalry, but it is also built on respect. Both players embodied that spirit. The road ahead. With the victory, Eala earned a place in the next round of the tournament, where she was set to face rising Czech talent Linda Noskova. The challenge ahead would not be easy. Indian Wells is known for grueling matches, unpredictable conditions, and opponents eager to seize their own moment. But Eala had already shown she belonged. Each tournament appearance adds another chapter to her growing story, a story of persistence, belief, and the courage to compete against the world's best. A symbol of a new generation. Eala's success also represents something larger than a single match. Women's tennis is currently experiencing a wave of young stars redefining the sport with speed, creativity, and fearlessness. Players like Gauff helped lead that movement, and Eala is quickly emerging as part of the same exciting generation. Their matches promise to shape the future of tennis. Even though this particular contest ended abruptly, the rivalry between Eala and Gauff may continue for many years. And fans around the world will eagerly watch every chapter. The beauty and cruelty of sport. Sports often mirror life, moments of joy mixed with disappointment, triumph intertwined with struggle. For Gauff, the match ended in frustration and concern about her injury. Yet champions are defined not by setbacks but by how they respond to them. For Eala, the night brought celebration, but also a reminder that success sometimes arrives in unexpected ways. The desert lights of Indian Wells shone brightly as the crowd applauded both athletes leaving the court. One walked away with a milestone victory, the other with the hope of recovery. But the story of that night was ultimately about a rising star finding her place on the global stage. And somewhere in the desert air,